Good evening and welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, November 6, 2025. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Close to 18,000 corals that were replanted under the Coral Restoration Project led by Caribbean have died due to warmer ocean temperatures recorded in 2024. And that's according to the organization's director, Dr. Owen Day, who says the loss is primarily the result of climate change. Dr. Day, a marine biologist, explained that to build more resilient coral populations in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the organization hopes to introduce corals from other Caribbean countries that have shown greater tolerance to higher sea temperatures. However, he noted that the process is tedious and emphasized the need for greater regional collaboration, including the sharing of coral species across islands.
This is a regional crisis. And the solution is about now sharing these resilient corals between St. Lucia, St. Vincent, but also Grenada. All of the OECS countries need to work together so that if you have really strong corals, take little pieces from them and send them on a boat to St. Vincent, and we put them in our nursery. And a little piece like my finger in 3 years is a coral this big with fish growing in it. They grow fast. They grow really fast. And we can employ people to do this work. So it's an opportunity, as I said, for the environment, for the communities, and for the economy of the country. So I would really urge ministers to get in touch with us. We're called Clear Caribbean. I'll leave you my details, but we would like them to instruct the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, the OECS Secretariat, to help develop a sharing mechanism between the islands so we can get permits to move these corals up and down the Eastern Caribbean.
Dr. Day said the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines has expressed support for bringing in corals from St. Lucia, but the request made since April has yet to be finalized. He added that he will be traveling to St. Lucia tomorrow to explore ways to accelerate the process.
And even better than that would be to get permits to bring them from Cuba or Jamaica or Belize, because those corals, they've adapted to higher temperatures already. Because in Cuba and Jamaica and Belize, it's 1 degree warmer. The sea is 1 degree warmer. So those corals have had thousands of years to already get adapted to higher temperature. If we bring them to the Eastern Caribbean, it's cooler here, 1 degree cooler. They'll have a better chance of surviving. Yeah? So this is now time for the political leaders to talk about how we can work together to save coral reefs. And this is not just science and foreigners like myself. This is about local people being employed to become coral gardeners. We have 50 coral gardeners already in St. Lucia and in St. Vincent. And we want to have many more. And we can get funding from international donors to grow this new industry of coral restoration. A bit like forestry, we can replant. We can replant the reefs with stronger corals. They won't be maybe the same as before, but they'll still have fish and lobster. But if we don't do this soon, they will become extinct.
Clear Caribbean has been working with several regional partners and community groups across St. Vincent and the Grenadines on coral restoration and marine conservation efforts. A young marine scientist from Union Island, who has been part of the project, said he has witnessed the effects of coral bleaching firsthand, noting that many coral colonies have struggled to recover as ocean temperatures continue to rise.
To see the ocean, live in the ocean. Every weekend when I was young, I used to go dive, snorkel, fishing with my friends on the beaches on Union. And over the years, when I was growing up, I could see more and more, being in the water, the same reef that I'd be passing over almost every weekend degrading. So I could see the colorful reefs turning with basically having less and less color on them. I could see fish also declining. Certain fish that we used to see a lot around reef, not really being there anymore as much as we had them before. And seeing this and, being a guy from a small island where you see the direct impact of climate change and basically anthropogenic pressures or threats from humans, I've basically wanted to work and dedicate my life into preserving like that beautiful ecosystem that I grew up in. So that's why like I started to study marine biology.
And 5 years after Liat 1974 Limited went into liquidation and terminated its staff, former employees in St. Vincent and the Grenadines say they are still waiting to receive their severance and other benefits, despite early assurances from the government that payments would be made. Two former supervisory employees spoke out this week, expressing frustration and disappointment over what they describe as a lack of communication from the authorities. Terrene Warren, who served as supervisor for operations and customer service, said he has written to the government on several occasions seeking updates. However, the last correspondence he received was 2 years ago.
I still look forward to it, but honestly, at this point, I would like for our leaders to show some respect to the dismissed staff. At least give us a reply. Right? 2 years is too long after we've had a meeting. You told us you would do something for us. We were quiet. We were patient. We are diplomatic in our approach to you. We sent letters. We went to, right? I think the least we would respect is to treat us humanely and to say, hey, Liat staff, this is what I can do for you. And at this point, we want it in writing, because we've been given lip service before, and we're 2 years after that and still nothing. So we want it in writing. Whatever you can or cannot do for us, be respectful to your citizens, be respectful to your labor force, because I sincerely felt like if we were contributing to the country.
Warren explained that staff were initially given the impression that the government will support them, as it had been done during Liat's years of operation, but said that promise now feels empty.
There was a point where I was trying to get to was that we were looking to do industrial actions, but then the government declared, I think this was in 2014, I could be wrong, don't quote me, the government declared Liat as an essential service, right? So when we were now put under that bracket of as an essential service, we couldn't take industrial action like any other entity, right? So even though we were going through such a hard time at Liat, the government stepped in and prevented us from expressing ourselves, which industrial action is our right. The government stepped in and prevented us from expressing ourselves to show to the company, hey, you need to treat us better. So again, with these little things, to me, yes, we were the responsibility of the government. We were taking instructions from the government. We were taking guidance from the government. It may be on paper that, yes, you're not legally liable to pay severance, but in all respect, because you have such a great impact on our lives as employees of Liat, I think that you should make some sort of effort to pay off the severance in some way, form, or fashion. This is just me expressing what I feel coming from the experience, and I'm sure that many other staff has a similar view.
Another former employee, Kaishma Williams, who was second in command to Warren, said she continues to hope that the promised benefits will be paid. She revealed that she was unemployed for 4 of the past 5 years, and at this stage she simply wants clarity on whether the government is in a position to make the payments.
Early in our dismissal, we were given loss of income support from the government, but that was just for a period of 6 months, and that was it. Yeah. It helped, but it still didn't do what we wanted it to do, because some of us have children, we have mortgages, we have bills, so it's been quite an adjustment. But thankfully, thank God, I have a job now, so I'm in a much better position. But I still look forward to my severance, because for the work I know we have given to them, we deserve to get something back. We have worked almost 18 hours plus on numerous occasions, and we never demanded anything. We have given what we don't even have. So in that respect, I think just say something to us. Whether you can or you can't, just let us know, well, we understand, this is what we can do, this is what we can't do.
In total, 41 former Liat staff members here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines lost their jobs when the airline collapsed in 2020. Some have since migrated, while others remain in the country still awaiting compensation. And Matthew Martin and Victoria Lewis of the Sinclair Dakin Secondary School emerged as the winners of the National Secondary Schools Social Sciences Quiz held on Wednesday at the Curriculum Development Unit. 7 teams, each consisting of 2 students, competed in the areas of geography, history, and social studies. The second place position went to Joshua Sargent and Lydia Simmons of the Beckwith Seventh-day Adventist Secondary, while third place was captured by Jeremiah Maskell and Gianna Stapleton of the Thomas Saunders Secondary. The other participating schools, including the North Union Secondary, Trumacq Ontario Secondary, Bookament Bay Secondary, and the George Stevens Senior Secondary School. The quiz was sponsored by Macmillan Education in collaboration with the Ministry of Education. Delivering remarks, a Senior Education Officer for Curriculum, Aldea Gums-Dyer, noted that the social sciences hold a special place in the national curriculum as they help students better understand the world around them and the role of citizens in shaping society.
They help students to understand the world around us. It is in the social sciences that you learn your history, your culture, you learn about the environment, the social systems, and the political systems that we live under. And at this time, it is such a critical time for us to understand these systems, the political system. We are right in the election era. And although you're young, I know you want to understand what's going on. They also help us to understand people better and to relate to each other. We learn how communities develop and how we can create a more just society. Not only in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, but across the region and globally, because the world is shrinking every day. We do not have the boundaries, the hard boundaries that existed when I was growing up. We are reaching people everywhere. So this competition, this quiz, is really designed to provide opportunity for our students to apply what they have learned, to think critically, and to express themselves confidently. I know that as you prepared, you had to research, you had to analyze, you had to discuss. And all of that, all of those are skills within the social sciences department.
Gums-Dyer encouraged the participants to continue developing their communication and critical thinking skills, not only for academic purposes, but as valuable tools for personal and professional growth throughout life. Country Representative of Macmillan Education, Dennis Games, expressed the organization's pleasure in supporting educational initiatives organized by the Ministry of Education. He noted that Macmillan remains committed to promoting learning and academic excellence, adding that events such as the Social Sciences Quiz and Fair foster healthier competition and intellectual curiosity among students.
Your day, this is a very exciting time, especially in a time when we are overwhelmed with problems in St. Vincent. The minivans, the music, the alcohol, the social media, and you are the ones who will be chosen to take us out of this, because you are the ones to accepting the challenge. So students, I want to commend you as you study, as you foster an understanding and appreciation, as you develop your critical thinking and your analytical skills. You promote healthy competition and camaraderie, and you motivate each other. I want you to take this thing serious and make sure that you are the one who's going to make a difference. Macmillan is very, very happy and pleased. Macmillan had been publishing for a number of years, and especially this, we want to commend Kamisha Jacobs for being part of sponsorship and all of it. Keep the essentials, keep teaching the school, and you students, we're looking forward for you to be able to participate to make a difference, especially in the political arena and the social field. So I want to thank the Ministry of Education, the organizers, and all the principals, students.
The St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union, the SVG-TU, will host a series of activities to mark Teacher Solidarity Week as it observes 50 years since the 1975 teachers' protest, a pivotal event that brought about meaningful change for educators across the nation. The week of activities will be held under the theme celebrating 50 years of dedication and pride in the struggles of 1975. Teachers Union President Oswald Robinson said that as the union reflects on that historic moment 5 decades later, teachers continue to face challenges that demand unity and perseverance. He noted that the 1975 protests serve as a turning point in the fight for better working conditions and recognition of teachers' rights, and that its lessons remain relevant today.
Many of the benefits today, despite and unfortunately some of those very issues which confront the teachers in 1975, they exist today. So in 1975, the teachers union was writing all the authorities, the Prime Minister, who was Milton Cato, or the Premier, because in 1975 he was the Premier, we didn't have an independence as yet. So the teachers at the time had issues, several issues, many issues, and so what they did, they grouped the issues under 5 headings. One of them was working conditions. Working conditions were deplorable, improper washroom facilities. You know, in those days they had the pit latrine still. Shortage of furniture, shortage of teachers, and the list went on and on. Infrastructural problems they had.
To kickstart the week of activities, a church service will be held, followed by training sessions for new teachers on Friday, November 14th. The traditional Solidarity March will take place.
Friday of the 14th, similarly to Friday the 14th, when the teachers took to the street to march and they were tear gas. So we would begin at 3 p.m. outside the Peace Memorial Hall. We will march all the way down to Bay Street, go along Bay Street, make a right turn onto Higginson Street, then make another right turn onto Halifax Street, and then where we reach at the entrance of Paul's Avenue, we will make a left turn and we would climax with the rally at the Bishop College Hard Court. The reason why we go to Bishop College is because that's where the strike ended up in 1975. That's where the teachers climax and regroup to strategize on the next move.
The celebrations will conclude on Saturday, the 15th, with an award ceremony during which several teachers will be recognized for their outstanding contributions to the education sector. As we continue to mourn the passing of our managing director, Paul MacLeish, we are hearing from many whose lives he touched and who were influenced by his remarkable contribution to the field of broadcasting. Here now is a reflection from former news presenter Roxanne Israel Dalrymple.
Hello, I'm Roxanne Israel Dalrymple, and I worked with Mr. MacLeish at SVG Television for over 20 years. I was indeed saddened when I heard of Mr. MacLeish's passing, and I express my heartfelt condolences to Madeline, his family, and the staff at SVG Television. Mr. MacLeish had a lifelong dream to bring television to every household in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and that dream he fulfilled. SVG Television was indeed the station that everyone tuned, I should say, into to get the local news before the onslaught of other stations and social media. SVG television was his life. He was, as we would say, cook, bottle washer, and everything in between. When it came down to the running of SVG-TV, he gave it his all. When I would zip in to read the evening news, he would always welcome me with a smile. And I enjoyed working with him behind the cameras. He was thorough, to the point, and no nonsense. And that worked wonderfully for me. I ran into him late last year after many, many years and had a short chat with him. I asked him jokingly if he remembered me, and he had a good laugh. And he said, "What do you mean if I remember you, Roxanne?" We had a nice little chat. And I remember walking away thinking how instrumental he was in my life and how he had impacted the lives of so many Vincentians through television. Thank you, Mr. MacLeish. Your legacy will continue to live on in the people whose lives you've touched, directly and indirectly. You set the stage for others to follow in television, in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You sure did. You will be truly missed. And I am grateful, we are grateful, to have shared in your journey. Rest in peace, boss.
And President of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union, Oswald Robinson, has joined the many Vincentians paying tribute to SVG Broadcasting Corporation General Manager Paul MacLeish following his recent passing. During his SVG-TV Talks program, Robinson described MacLeish as a nation builder in his own right, noting that his dedication and professionalism left a lasting impact on the field of broadcasting in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
I want to express our deepest condolences to the staff of the National Broadcasting Corporation, the television station here, the management, the family, the friends of the passing of Mr. Paul MacLeish, an outstanding nation builder who have contributed significantly to telecommunications in terms of television, radio stations, broadcasting, bringing to the nation all the local, regional, and international activities. And we applaud him for his initiative in establishing a television station and also radio stations here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines so that we could keep in touch with activities, local, regional, and international. We pray that his soul may rest in eternal peace and that all those who are bereaved at this time would find comfort in God's grace.
Superintendent of Police Ashlyn Bristol has reported a noticeable decline in crime figures following an analysis of recent police data. She made a statement during a radio interview on WeFM, noting that the trend reflects ongoing efforts by the Royal St. Vincent and Grenadines Police Force to improve public safety. Bristol emphasized that within the South Central Division, there's been a slight but steady decline in criminal activity, a development she described as an encouraging sign of progress.
Common crimes we looked at that occur is basically theft and burglary, right? I mentioned earlier there are 4 stations, right? So if we're gonna cover South Central Division, I will quickly touch on each station and how these crimes occur, and we'll see the percentage of theft and burglary that comes out during a year period. All right. So as I said, bear with me. So we're looking at crimes. I'm going back a little to 2024. So we're looking at crimes, and these stats came from our crime register at individual stations, right? So we looked at stubs and we're seeing that within 2024, there was 144 reported crimes. If we look at from yesterday's date, when the stats was pulled, we have 132 crimes reported at the South Police Station.
She attributed the reduction in crime to a combination of data-driven strategies and operational reforms, including more frequent police patrols, improved coordination among officers, and a greater focus on intelligence-led policing. These measures, she said, have helped the police respond more effectively to potential threats and maintain visible presence in communities.
Number one, as I just did, we looked at what happened the previous year and we put measures in place to combat those occurrences of crime, such as patrols. We will station Sergeant Morris within that division, will keep contact with farmers. So you try to channel your energy in relation to what's happened then and then put resources in place to prevent the occurrence to be seen. And we do have meetings and we basically empower our staff to go forward. And we looked at not just crime in general, there are different aspects of crime, but we looked at the aspect of basically reaching out to pursuers and letting pursuers know that the police are here. And that has been happening, and I believe that is one of the contributors to the reduction of crime.
Brazil further noted that several community outreach initiatives such as school visits, neighborhood meetings, and public education sessions are being implemented to sensitize citizens about personal safety and crime prevention. She highlighted that community engagement remains a key component of the Royal St. Vincent and Grenadines Police Force crime reduction strategy aimed at building trust and cooperation between law enforcement and the public.
The police basically been active in reaching out to different community groups. You mentioned the schools, that's what we do. We had interact and secure different sporting activities, and in so doing you will go to the school, speak to the principal, let them know what's happening and so forth. They share the concern with you, maybe minor issues like loiterers, pursuit smoking, and close to the school and so forth. So that communication is there. What we encourage officers to do in South Central Division is to get involved in different groups within the individual station. As we know, the division is big. And one of the groups, or most of the groups that we targeted are neighborhood groups. I could mention two groups which the police are actively involved in. One is the Villa neighborhood group, and that group is very important. It's along the tourism belt, the Villa district, Indian Bay, Villa Beach, and because of that camaraderie with the officers, pursuers who are members of that group, once they see something that is questionable, something that is out the way, they will contact the police.
The Assistant Superintendent of Police reassured the public that efforts to combat crime are ongoing and reaffirmed the force's commitment to maintaining peace, order, and national security across St. Vincent and the Grenadines.